What's going on, guys? Gunnar here. Welcome back to the channel. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for reaching out, commenting, sharing, liking the video of my bear hunt up in Manitoba. It does not go unnoticed. This is what I love to do, and I can't believe that the channel's growing at the rate that it is, and we're able to make this kind of content for you guys. Basically just everything that I love to do, making videos on it, and you guys are loving it. So I want to thank you guys for that. To all my new subscribers, welcome to the channel. I hope we can bring you guys some value when it comes to food plots, water holes, deer hunting in general, anything when it comes to habitat management, land management, and at the same time keep you guys entertained with some pretty cool hunts that are going to be coming up here for me. Now, I've talked about this before, and it's nothing new in the outdoor industry, right? None of these concepts are new. But I want to walk you guys through how I do my no-till food plots, why I'm doing them now, and at the same time, kind of a step-by-step process on how I got here, and some of the varieties that I'm planting, why I'm planting them, and everything in between. So basically, as you guys can see behind me, I've got about 1/3 of an acre of winter rye, standing winter rye, that is close to 5 feet tall, right? I'm not a tall guy, but it's pretty close to my head. Now, the reasoning for this is a habitat restoration area that I kind of set aside, and I'm trying to create something really special here. I've got a lot of different things going on here when it comes to adding habitat, adding structure in this area. This was always an old pasture. We always grazed cattle in here. We haven't had cattle for a few years now, and this has just been sitting fallow, nothing growing. Besides some cool season grasses in here, but it basically has been useless, right? You know, there's been a few deer here and there, but I wanted to turn it up a notch on this side of the farm, so I decided to go all in, plant $3,000 worth of apple trees, fruit trees, chestnut trees, dogwoods, everything. Pretty heavy hit on the pocketbook, but I like deer hunting, I like the outdoors, so I kind of look past the price tag a lot of times. Anyway, we planted all of this in this area. Basically what we're doing, we're trying to create a nice edge through here, an inside corner, a new stand location behind the camera. But I've talked about this before. We've got switchgrass edging, we've got switchgrass buffer between the big ag field and this eventual food plot. But what I'm doing is I'm just preparing this entire area for when it is ready to hunt. Now, all of these fruit trees are anywhere from 2 to 3 years old, and they're just barely starting to crack out of those tubes. So 5-6 feet high for a lot of them, but I need those trees 10 to 12 to 15 feet high for them to provide that good screening cover that I'm looking for in this area. It's not far from the house, so I need this to get screened off before it's a viable option for me to hunt. Now, this food plot is not going to get food this fall. It's not going to get a fall blend in here because I'm not hunting it. I don't want to pull attraction from some of my other good spots and good food plots to this area because I don't have a stand in it yet, right? So basically what I'm doing is I'm just preparing this area for an eventual fall food plot blend to go in here. So when I do go in and plant and I need something good here in the fall and I need it to grow, it's already ready to rock. Because I think everybody knows that when you start a food plot, it takes a few years to get that the way you want it, to get it growing the way you want it, get the pH levels in a good area, lime it, fertilize it, whatever you got to do, taking soil samples. It takes a few years. So what I've done here is I tilled this up and I chopped up all those cool season grasses. This would have been last fall-ish. I came in here with 100 to 200 pounds per acre. I can't exactly remember how much poundage I actually threw on here of winter rye, but basically my whole idea was to just let this grow up, let it take over completely, eliminate most of my weed competition within here, and then now, here we are in June, early June. We've got a rainstorm coming here this afternoon, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna broadcast directly into this winter rye, and then I'm gonna wait a couple days, and then I'm gonna crimp it over. Now, you guys can see this is 5 feet tall. A lot of guys will talk about having to crimp it in the dough stage. Now, there is some truth to that I found, but at the same time, Once this winter rye gets this tall, there's a lot of surface area that you're gonna be able to roll over. And I haven't noticed it wanting to stand back up per se after you roll it over when it's this height. That's a lot of weight to turn right back up. So I've had pretty good luck just rolling it over. When it's smaller, yes, having it in that dough stage is probably a little bit bigger of a deal. But when it's this tall, you really get that good snap right at the ground level. I haven't had any problems when it comes to have to use a crimper. I'm going to use a crimper, but you can use just a lawn roller. You can use an ATV, drive over it. I've seen guys throw a pallet with some weight on the back of it and drag that with a four-wheeler, and that's worked fine. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just broadcasting into this, waiting a couple days, letting that germinate, and then broadcasting this mat of winter rye right over the top of it. And that's going to provide not only basically a weed mat, but it's also going to provide a moisture barrier. So today it's 85 degrees, it's hot out, it's not nice. But once I lay this over, all of that dead, rotting winter rye is going to absorb a lot of that heat. So my soil is staying cool and damp, and it's not going to be drying out and exposing all my soil. So that's one of the benefits. Now at the same time, as you guys can see, there is zero weeds in here. Zero weed competition, and this is a brand new area, and I went ahead and I tilled it up. So I stirred the entire weed bank, but throwing the winter rye at this heavy of a rate in here and allowing that to grow up so tall, it's shading out everything else. And at the same time, winter rye is gonna germinate down to 50 degrees. It'll grow down close to freezing. So this is one of the most diverse plants and hardy plants that you can put in the ground just before winter, and it's gonna come up for you right away in the springtime. It's gonna beat out all your weed competition. So that's one of the things that I love about winter rye. It's so versatile. You can use it in so many different ways. I drilled winter rye into 23 acres of our ag field last fall. We didn't have rain for at least a month after I drilled it, but it started to come up because it was drilled into that ground, and that stuff is so tolerant, and it's just very tough. So a little bit about the seed variety that I'm going to be putting in here. I've got some red clover, I've got some more winter rye, I've got tillage radish, I've got buckwheat in here, and I've got some different varieties of brassica as well. Now, mainly the reason behind that is I just want a bunch of different diverse plants growing in here, pulling different nutrients at different depths, and just trying to build a lot of organic matter in here and always having something growing. Like we've got the winter rye here, that's gonna be 2-3 years before this fully breaks down. So just planting a bunch of different diversity in here as far as different seed varieties. Now, the clover is going to fix nitrogen for me. If I'm going to plant a nitrogen-heavy seed variety in here, which is going to be my tillage radish and my brassicas, I want to have a nitrogen-fixing plant with that, whether that be forage peas, a forage soybean, or clover. I want to have something that's going to be feeding that other nitrogen-sucking plant. Because if you plant a nitrogen-heavy plant in here, you're gonna have to keep pouring the fertilizer to it, and that's not what I want to do. That's not cost effective for what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm trying to have this self-sustainable, just building topsoil as I'm waiting for the different habitat in this area to grow up and start to mature. So that's a little bit about what I'm going to do here today. I wanted to talk about it because this is the system that I got turned on to about 2 years ago. I had a nasty pigweed problem. We were always conventional with our food plots, spray till, spray till, spray till. Eventually that didn't become a viable option anymore. We were sterilizing our soil with all the chemical we were putting on it. It was getting hard for stuff to grow. We were having to add a ton of synthetic fertilizer to all of our food plots. So at the front of things, it wasn't cost effective anymore. And at the same time, the pigweed was just growing rampant. That stuff actually has the ability to adapt and morph itself to become resistant to those chemicals that we're using in the agricultural industry and in the food plot industry as well. So I'm trying to limit my usage of those chemicals because the way I see it, it's not a long-term sustainable option. And we as land managers and outdoorsmen, we have an obligation to find the best, most effective and safe way to sustain our environment, as far as wildlife populations, as far as the land management side of things. So that's the mission that I'm on. But I wanted to talk about it here today because I know a lot of you guys are starting to get itchy. It's summertime, the bucks are starting to grow their antlers. If you do have food plots that you want to do something with here in the dog days of summer, planting some winter rye is never going to hurt you. I always like to say the more stuff that you can plant, the better, because organic matter is never going to be a bad thing. Weed suppression is never going to be a bad thing. Having active root systems, creating water channels, nutrient pathways within your soil structure is never going to be a bad thing. So this is the process that I'm utilizing here again this year. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me. I'll give you guys my cell phone number here once again, 608-632-7233, 608-632-7233. If you guys have any questions on this process or any other habitat questions, outdoor questions, I'd love to help you guys out. But I'm gonna get to work here. We got some rain coming here this afternoon and evening. But like I said, we're gonna broadcast this summer blend right into the standing rye. We're gonna let the rain come here this afternoon, and then in 2 to 3 days, we're gonna lay this winter rye right across the top, let that die, let it basically create a weed mat or a mulch, and that new summer blend is gonna grow right up through that and take over where this is right now.